Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Quantum Field team. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Saturday training. I'm Onyx Cole, and I'm really excited to be here. God's been giving me a download for like a week about this presentation, so I'm really excited to share. But before we start, I just wanted to give a shout out to Steve Merritt. Today, he is celebrating a new year. And as Renita would say, we're no longer celebrating birthdays around here because we're all age reversing. And I agree completely. So Steve Merritt's celebrating a new year. And the best thing about this new year is that his stem cells are actually awake. Last year at this time, I think he had 2 stem cells left and they were banging into each other, trying to tell the other one to wake up. No, wake up. So if you know Steve and you want to send him an email or you want to send him a text message, I'm sure he'd love to receive a little extra love today on his special day. So we're going to have some fun today, and we're going to talk today about mindset, programming, developing a long-term mindset, personal development, and action. So I got a lot to cover, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun, and hopefully it's going to move a lot of you into a new position where you're going to see the world from a new perspective. So a lot of you, I think, have heard me talk about building a network marketing organization. Is when you're thinking about it, you want to think about being in a marathon as opposed to a sprint. And what does that mean? That means that when you're in a marathon, you're not expecting to give everything you've got for 5 minutes and then it's over. You're expecting to be there for several hours, or in the case of network marketing, several weeks, several months, maybe even several years, building your organization. But I wanted to take you back a step and think, all of you that have either done a marathon or have known people, have friends that have attended a marathon, how many people do you know that actually attend a marathon to win? There's a small percentage of people that sign up for the marathons, they train, they want to win, they expect to win. Many of them even travel from New York to Florida or to Hawaii or all over the place in order to run these marathons. But also, probably 80% of the people that sign up to attend and to do a marathon are doing it not with the expectation to win, but with the expectation to finish. So this should be a shift for you all, because when I say that this is a marathon, not a sprint, that doesn't mean you've got to win. It means I'd like to see you finish the race. So I personally have never signed up for a marathon. I do know many people that have signed up for marathons, but think about some of the leaders we have in this organization. Steve and Gina Merritt, or Mike and Sahi, or Scott and Renita. Do you think these 3 couples think about winning? Like they want to win? Like when we were in Aruba, those 3, we had like 10 teams, I think, when we were in Aruba, and I had a team and they each had a team. And those 3 were like committed. We're going to win. We're going to win. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't need to win. I just need to finish. So for me, I didn't raise children that are world-class athletes like Steve and Gina Merritt did, or like Scott and Renita have done. So I don't have a I have to win mindset, but I do have I want to finish mindset. And when I built my last network marketing organization, I learned it wasn't about being first. It was about making it to the finish line is what mattered. So I'd like to see you all shift some of that to give yourself more of a long-term mindset. Now, how long will that be? It depends on each and every one of you. And what does it depend on? It depends on what work you've done. We're going to go over some of this today. What work you've already done on yourself prior to arriving here. And it's also going to depend on, how fast, how quickly you're moving in the business, how coachable you are, how trainable are you plugging in? One of the things I'd like you all to leave with today is plug in, get excited, and never quit. Plug in, get excited, and never quit. So by the end of today's training, I'm hoping that everyone is going to have developed a long-term mindset. And I'm going to ask you all a question. Those of you that grew up in the United States like me, did you go to kindergarten for many years? Did you go to elementary school for many years? Did you go to middle school for many years? Then did you go to high school? Some of you, like me, went and got a 4-year college degree, and some of you even went beyond what I got and got a doctorate or a PhD. If you're not in the United States and you're in Europe or you're in Asia, maybe you didn't go to high school. They might have called it something different, but typically around the world, children attend school till they're 12th grade, basically, till they're approximately 18 years old. So I want you all to think about something. If you've attended school until you graduated high school, the majority of us have spent 14,000 hours. 14,000 hours attending school, whether that was elementary school or middle school or high school. And what do you think was happening during those 14,000 hours? Well, I can tell you, you all, just like me, were being programmed. And what were you all being programmed about? You were being programmed to be an employee. So I want you to think about this. 14,000 hours you all spent attending school, assuming you didn't go to college, being programmed to be an employee. Think about some of the characteristics. I wrote down just a couple that employees have. For dollars. Income for employees is typically based exclusively on your work. Is any of this resonating with you guys? The truth is, we were all programmed to make enough money to just get by. Most employees work Monday to Friday for what? The weekend. They want to have the 2 days off a week. So they're going to work, they're slogging it out as employees so they can have 2 days off a week. Is any of this starting to resonate with you all? Employees typically do as little as possible. They tend to do just enough to get a paycheck. So there's a quote out there about 80% of millionaires and what the 80% of millionaires have in common. So I want you all to think for a minute. Let's make some guesses. What do you all think 80% of millionaires have in common? You think it's skin color? Maybe education? Maybe it's a race? Maybe it's gender? Maybe it's religion? And hopefully you guys have a few other ones that I didn't think of. But I'll tell you, none of those are correct. Lonnie, would you put up the slide, please? So there's a gentleman named Thomas Stanley who wrote a book called The Millionaire Next Door. And he said, America is still the land of opportunity. Over the past 30 years, I have consistently found that 80 to 85% of millionaires are self-made. What does that mean, you all? That means they're self-employed. They have created their own way to earn income instead of being in the mindset of an employee where they're going to do just enough to get by, or they're going to work Monday to Friday so they can have Saturday and Sunday, 2 days a week off. Robert Kiyosaki believes that the average person is not willing to work to become an entrepreneur. Why do you think that is? According to Kiyosaki, he said because it takes the average person 10 years to develop wealth. Anthony Robbins would say it takes 9 years to develop wealth. So you spent 14,000 hours, so did I, being programmed to be an employee. And here you are in network marketing. You've just said yes to LifeWave, and you've just said yes to network marketing, and you've just said yes to X39. And so I'm going to ask you to start to shift your mindset. I want to ask you to spend some time deprogramming yourself. And I'm asking you to spend some time learning what it is to be an entrepreneur. So how do you do that? One, I think you plug in. This organization, this group is filled with the most amazing group of leaders that want to see you succeed. And by plugging in, what happens is your mindset starts to change. I want you to get excited. Gina Merritt wins the award, hands down, for being the most excited person in the entire quantum field organization. And here's the reason I want you to get excited. When you are excited, it's an expansive emotion. So it expands you, it expands your life, it expands your reach, it will expand your business. And the last thing I want you to think about is never quitting. So how do you develop a long-term mindset? You've been programmed 14,000 hours worth of programming, and I'm asking you to shift that. So the way you do that, in my perception, is to work on yourself. Now, the truth is, I don't know any marathon runners who decided to win the marathon or to just finish a marathon and did it by sprinting the entire race. Do you know anybody that can sprint an entire marathon? I think it's highly unusual, if it's even possible. So the quantum field team system that's been set up has been set up to help you hold the pace of a marathon runner so that you can finish the race. 3-3-1 is set up so that you can build this business in your nooks and crannies in your life. It is set up so that you can deprogram yourself while learning an entirely new way to exist in the world, where you're unwilling to get by with just enough. I want you to have abundance beyond your wildest dreams. You deserve it. God wants you to have abundance beyond your wildest dreams. So the truth is, I don't need you to win the race. I just want you to finish the race. I don't need you to win the race. I just want you to finish the race. So in the Build 331 system, there will be times, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, where you will sprint. Right now, we're in the middle of a 90-day run. What are we running towards? We're running to the This Is It convention. And if you're not registered for This Is It by the end of today's presentation, I hope that you will make a decision, that you will decide to get yourself registered. But the system is set up that you will have times that you will sprint. Perhaps you'll sprint for a rank. Or perhaps you'll sprint for a free trip, like Aruba. Many of us just got back from an amazing trip for Aruba. Or perhaps you're going to sprint for a promotion. Hello, you guys. We're in one of the most lucrative promotions LifeWave offers. I think it's one of the most lucrative promotions that's even offered over all network marketing companies. But if we just stay focused on LifeWave, this June promotion that we're in, the Rank Advanced promotion, everybody should have their sneakers on. Everybody should be sprinting. So that promotion, this promotion is not over until the end of June. Every one of you can be participating in it. So what's your goal? In my delusion, your goal is to finish the race, not to sprint the entire race. I want you to imagine a long-term mindset. I want you to imagine finishing the race instead of dealing with or allowing yourself to stay in the 14,000 hours that you were programmed all the way through high school to be in an employee's mindset. Imagine being a farmer and you planted a field because you decided that you wanted to grow corn. And after you were done planting the field, 2 days later, you went to the field and you noticed there was no corn. Nothing was growing. So what did you do? You quit. You quit. After spending all of that time planting, after spending all of that time dreaming, you actually went out and quit. Why? Because you noticed that there was no corn. You wanted to be a farmer, but you tried to do it with your programmed employee mindset. Remember that short-term mindset that I'm asking you to deprogram yourself from. You walked away from your dream of being a farmer and growing corn. Why? Because you had a short-term mindset. Or, oh, I love this one. Imagine you decided to become a farmer and you plant your field with corn. And so once you're done planting your field, your neighbor comes over and he asks you, because he's been seeing you do all this work in planting the corn, and he asks you and he says, what's going on? I don't see any, and you tell him, I'm planting corn. And he says to you, I don't see any corn coming up from the ground. And he laughs and he says to you, oh my gosh, you've been ripped off. You've joined a cult or you've joined a pyramid. And so you quit. You once again walked away from your dream. Why? Because your neighbor had a short-term programmed mindset. How many of you are letting your spouses, your family, your friends, or your neighbors keep you programmed in a short-term mindset? I know I was guilty of that for years and years and years. That's why I never looked at network marketing, because I let my friends and family make a decision about something I knew nothing about. But I'm also going to tell you the truth. Right? I'm going to tell you, it's easier for you all to stay programmed. It's easier to keep your job. It's easier to make just enough money to get by. It's easier to have a short-term mindset. But I personally think there's a better way. Deprogramming yourself and developing that entrepreneur mindset. Robert Kiyosaki said, most people never get wealthy simply because they are not trained to recognize opportunities right in front of them. You all have said yes to this. You're on this presentation. You've said yes to LifeWave. You've said yes to X39. I'm suggesting that you plug in, you get excited, and you never quit. I'm suggesting that this quantum field team, this winning team, you're plugged into, and over time, you will deprogram yourself and develop an entrepreneur's mindset. So plug in, get excited, and never quit. Will you put up the next slide, please, Lonnie? The one, Jim Rohn slide. Sorry, babe. So Jim Rohn said, work hard at your job and you can make a living. Work hard on yourself and you can make a fortune. Where the sun's coming straight in, isn't it? So work hard at your job and you can make a living, or work hard on yourself and you can make a fortune. So before I knew Steve and Gina, I knew this. I knew that working hard on myself was going to be a way out for me. I also knew this next quote because I knew Robert Kiyosaki. The richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else is trained to look for work. So I spent my time building a network prior to knowing Steve and Gina. What I didn't know was the power of network marketing. So I had a network of people around me that believed in me and that understood, what I was teaching, etc. But when Steve and Gina brought me network marketing, everything shifted for me. And the reason it shifted is because for me, what I experienced as an entrepreneur is I had no roadmap. So I'm reading books and I'm working on myself and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to do business. And, I started out with a business where literally I sold super premium dog and cat food, and I would sell it to vets and they would get 90 days before they actually had to pay me. And I had to buy the container load because I lived in New Zealand. I would buy a container load from the United States, bring this super premium dog and cat food, unload it, not me, but the warehouse people would unload it. I would then sell it to the vets. And 90 days later, I would pray that they would pay me. And many times they didn't. And I would have to go into collections. I had to learn about different types of traditional business and what works and what doesn't work. When Steve and Gina bought me network marketing and I looked at that compensation plan, I'm like, this is like reading French. My dyslexic brain was going, I don't understand this. So what did I do? I read it and I read it and I read it and I read it and I read it until I understood it. And what that compensation plan became for me was a roadmap. For the first time in my life, I knew I had worked on myself. I knew rich people built networks. And now I didn't have to take a chance on what kind of business, what kind of company. I had been given a roadmap in a network marketing company. And that compensation plan became my roadmap. I realized if I did this and I did this and I did this, I got that. If I did this and I did this and I did this, I got that. So the compensation plan became my roadmap. And those of you that go to Build 331, I would be downloading these 2 pages, which is the hot sheet of the compensation plan, and read it. The good thing is this compensation plan is not so French-like. It's not as difficult as the company that Steve and Gina bought me, which had a very difficult compensation plan. Now, the truth is that some of you are going to stay for the rest of your life in network marketing. You're going to fall in love with this business model. You're going to fall in love with the community of people. I'm totally in love with the community of people. The reason, because what I find in network marketing is that you've got people that want to work hard. You've got people that want to change their lives. You've got people that want to share their success secrets. You've got people that want to lift each other up. Those are, for me, those are the kinds of people that I want to be around with. Those are the kinds of people that I want to spend my time with. But some of you will learn the skills in building a network marketing business which will make you an entrepreneur. And some of you will use those skills only within network marketing, and others of you will take those skills that you learned within network marketing and use it to launch a traditional business. So it becomes a win, win, win. So let's go back to Jim Rohn's quote, please. So Jim Rohn talked about personal development. Robert Kiyosaki, here we go. Jim Rohn. Work hard at your job and you can make a living. Work hard on yourself and you can make a fortune. So we have a series of activities that you do in the quantum field team system. But none of those activities are working on yourselves. Those are the activities you do in order to build business. If I were you, I would be listening to what Jim Rohn said, and I would be working just as hard on myself as I am in building the business. When you start with personal development, you're going to learn so much. You'll learn about your health. You'll learn about a positive mental attitude. You'll learn about communication skills. You'll learn how to make a fortune. You'll learn about fiat currencies. You'll learn about how not to be offended. You'll learn that problems don't stop you. You'll learn things like rejection doesn't bother you. But actually, I think the most important thing you'll learn from personal development is it'll give you how to use your failures to magnify your successes ninefold. So whenever I have a failure, I don't let it leave me down. I stand back up and figure out, what do I need to do different? What do I need to do better? How can I rise above this? And I think that's one of the best things you're going to learn through personal development. Here's another quote from Robert Kiyosaki. The more I risk being rejected, the better my chances are of being accepted. So for me today, I do 331 each and every day. And I've been doing it each and every day since the last day of July, almost 4 years ago. We're coming up on my 4-year anniversary, y'all. And it doesn't matter to me. I am not attached at all to whether or not somebody says yes or no to me. I don't take it personally. Now, one of the things that I have done in order to develop myself is read lots of books. And I'll tell you, as a dyslexic, this was not an easy thing to accomplish. So when I first started working on myself, I was in my early 20s, and it was hard. It was really hard for me to read a book in a year. And so then what I did was I set a goal. Okay, every time I go on vacation, which wasn't that often, you all, but every time I get to go on vacation, my goal is to read one book. So then I spent a whole year where I read one book every time I went on a vacation, which was great. It was, again, a step up in personal development, a step up in accomplishment. Then I got better and better, and I was able to read a book a month. And so now you're talking about 12 books a year. That's a lot. And in today's environment, things are totally different because you don't actually have to read anymore. You all can do personal development through podcasts. You can do personal development by downloading books. And if you haven't read the June book of the month, which is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, I encourage you to read this book or download this book at the end of today's presentation. I love this book. I have read this book many, many times. It's tiny. It's tiny. So what are the 4 agreements? The 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. This was huge for me. So rejection, would you be taking that personally? Nope. Don't make assumptions. This was also huge for me. And number 4, always do your best. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. So I pulled out 2 quotes from 2 out of the 4 sections that I thought I would share with you all. This one comes out of the second section. Don't take anything personally. Quote, taking things personally makes you easy prey for those predators, the black magicians. They can hook you easily with one little opinion and feed you whatever poison they want. And because you take it personally, you eat it up. You eat all their emotional garbage, and now it becomes your garbage. But if you do not take it personally, you are immune in the middle of hell. Immunity to the poison in the middle of hell is the gift of this agreement. It's an incredible book. Number 4, always do your best. I pulled another little blurb out of that. Just do your best. This is a quote from the book as well. In any circumstance in your life, it doesn't matter if you're sick or tired. If you always do your best, there is no way you can judge yourself. There is no way you are going to suffer from guilt, blame, or self-punishment. By always doing your best, you will break a big spell that you have been under. How many of us are walking around with guilt or blame or self-punishment? And can you imagine taking that boulder off of your shoulder and putting it on the floor just by making an agreement with yourself to always do your best, even when you're sick, even when you're tired? So if you haven't read this book, I encourage you to grab it and read it, or download it if you want to download it. It's a tiny book and you'll really enjoy it. I grabbed some other stuff that I thought was just fantastic to share. Here's Dave Ramsey's 5 simple habits of the average millionaire. Number 1, they're avid readers. Number 2, they understand delayed gratification. Does an employee understand delayed gratification? No, they expect to do work today and be paid at the end of the week for the work they do. Number 3, according to Dave Ramsey, they stay away from debt. Number 4, they budget. Number 5, they give. That's 5 simple habits of the average millionaire, according to Dave Ramsey. How many of you know Anthony Robbins? I adore Anthony Robbins, and he has made a huge shift for millions and millions and millions of people around the world. And here's a list he put out. Think like a millionaire with these Tony Robbins tips. Be psychologically and physically strong. When's the last time you all went out for a walk? Just to walk your legs. Movement is incredibly powerful. Seek out the facts. Trick yourself into saving automatically. Have a mission or a vision. Don't assume huge risks means huge rewards. Don't be afraid to fail. Every day, you all, I go out and I swing the bat and I do 3-3-1. I'm not attached to whether or not I get a yes or a no. I'm not attached to whether or not that's a failure. My goal is simply to swing the bat. Work harder on yourself than anything else. He's saying the same thing Jim Rohn is saying, y'all. Work harder on yourself than anything else. Stop trading time for money. Sounds also like an employee attribute, doesn't it? I'm going to trade my time to earn money at the end of the week. Remember that progress equals happiness. This network marketing journey is progress. Every day you will move one step closer to your goal just by showing up every day and doing the 3-3-1. So if you haven't read the 4 agreements, the June Book of the Month Club, I encourage you to read it. The last thing I want to go over is taking action. And Anthony Robbins would say, take massive action. So one of the things that I believe is thoughts determine what you want, and actions determine what you get. Thoughts determine what you want, and actions determine what you get. I actually believe that you need both. You want to work on your thoughts to figure out where you're going, and then you want to take daily action. How do you work on your thoughts? I'm constantly working on myself. So let's say that you're somebody who's unsure about network marketing. I am not the least bit unsure about network marketing. There's not one cell in my body that says, oh, they asked me if it's network marketing, I'm afraid. I'm so proud to be part of network marketing. Why? Because I've watched. I think this is the only place that regular people like you and me can change our lives. And I'm talking 4 figures, 5 figures, 6-figure incomes, 7-figure incomes. I'm talking the ability to share this amazing patch and watch your friends and families and contacts' lives change. So if you're somebody who's not sure about network marketing, I've got a couple more quotes. Here's Harry Dent, who's an amazing economist. If you haven't read any of his books, they're fantastic. The advantage of network marketing is the ease of entry, low risk, and low startup cost. Almost everything else has very high risk. Or here's another quote. Network marketing is really the greatest source of grassroots capitalism because it teaches people how to take a small bit of capital, that is your time, and build the American dream. But the first thing you've got to do is remember that you were programmed, just like me, with a minimum of 14,000 hours. So you've got to deprogram yourself, and you've got to deprogram that thinking. Additionally, you don't want to let your friends, family, spouses, neighbors who choose to remain programmed, that's fine, but don't let them steal your dream. Think about being that farmer. Don't let your friends come over and say, really? You just spent a week, a month, a year planting this network marketing business and it hasn't gone anywhere, and you quit and you let them steal your dream. Don't do it. Plug in, get excited, and never quit. Here's another quote from Robert Kiyosaki. Focus, Focus. Focus one course until successful. So if it was me, I would be completely focused on X39. If it was me, I would be completely focused on Build 331, and I would become a master of it. Remember, your goal is not to win the marathon. Your goal is to finish the marathon. Think about David Schmidt. It took David Schmidt 10 years of research and development in order to create this most amazing product and bring it to market. Do you think he had days when his friends were looking at the cornfield that he had and they said, oh, there's nothing out there. What are you doing? You know, you've joined one of those pyramid things. Who knows what they're saying? David Schmidt didn't let somebody else steal his dream. He wasn't willing to continue an employee mindset. Are you willing to continue in that mindset? It's easier, but I don't think it's anywhere near as much fun. And I think you deserve so much more in your life than just barely getting by. Babe Ruth said, don't let the fear of striking out hold you back. And there's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, don't be afraid. Be not afraid of going slowly. Be afraid only if standing still. Your thoughts determine what you want. What are you thinking about all day? What are you focused on? What are you speaking? And your actions determine what you get. I believe you need both. So I wrote a list of actions that I would do if I were you. But again, each one of you is sovereign. I want you to do whatever works for you. I support you in being sovereign and finding exactly what works for you. For me, every day without fail, I do the 3-3-1 because I know I don't have to win the marathon. I just have to finish the marathon. I would set aside at least 15 minutes a day for personal development. Now, what's that going to look like? It'll be different for each and every one of you. And what I want you to know is there is no right or wrong. I would encourage you to go after the thing you're interested in. So maybe you want to learn about gold and silver. Maybe you want to learn about communication skills. Maybe you want to learn sales. Maybe you want to learn network marketing. Maybe you want to learn about health. It doesn't really matter what you're learning about. I want you to be working on developing yourself. Give yourself at least 15 minutes a day. When you have extra time, I would suggest you go through the last Saturday training that I did. Lonnie, do you have the date of that? It was done a few months ago. And the difference in that Saturday training is I went through the specific actions that I do with the Build 3-3-1. So it shows you which videos I use because there's hundreds of hours of stuff on the Build 3-3-1 website, but I go through specifically. Here's the sample envelopes. Here's what I text out to people when they get started in the business. I talk about each and every process. So when you've got time, I would go through that video, which you'll find it if you're not already there. I encourage you to join the Onyx Cole YouTube page, subscribe, and you'll find it there. It's a Saturday training that I did about 2 months ago. If you haven't read the June book of the month, I would either read the book or download the audio. This is an amazing book. You will not be disappointed. If it was me, I would decide today if you're no longer willing to live in your programmed employee mindset. You've got to make a decision. Decide that you're going to develop a long-term mindset. Decide that you're going to give this opportunity an X39 more than a week, more than a month, more than a year. For me, I'd say even more than 2 years. Can you all imagine if I had quit at 2 years? Steve and Gina Merritt wouldn't have said yes because they didn't say yes until 3 years. because 3 years later, Onyx is still doing 331. Each and every day, I'm working my business. So decide, this is a wonderful environment for you to thrive, really, really thrive and change your life. So decide that you're going to give X39 enough time for you to deprogram yourself from those 14,000 employee hours and allow a totally new you to show up. So decide you're going to focus on X39 exclusively to build your business. I bring you back to the Robert Kiyosaki quote, focus, follow one course until successful. Decide that you're going to attend the This Is It convention. And if you haven't bought your ticket today, I would tell you to buy your ticket today. Lonnie, can you put that slide up for me again, please, sweetheart? So Steve, Jean, and I are going to do another drawing. Anybody who buys the This Is It ticket today through, I believe it's Monday at midnight, we're going to give away 5 more sleeves of X39. Many, many, many people have won sleeves of X39, nothing like free product, which is fantastic. And those people that have won it, what they're doing is they're using it to pay it forward. They're using it to build their business. So if you haven't decided yet to attend the This Is It convention, I'm encouraging you to decide. And as soon as we're done, I would go right on that website and I would sign up. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is when you make a decision and you decide and you take forward action, the universe can actually create all kinds of amazing miracles for you. So when I decided to say yes to X39, I had nothing. I had this beautiful product. I had this amazing little patch, and I had nothing else to work with. But I decided that I could build a very large business here a little bit each and every day. So decide that you're going to attend the This Is It convention. What you will learn there is going to be life-changing. You will see all kinds of leaders on stage teaching and training. The Quantum Field organization is full of the most amazing group of leaders, people that want to see you succeed. They're going to share their success secrets with you. The beautiful thing about network marketing, one thing I love about this kind of opportunity is people don't keep their success secrets hidden. So, for instance, if I own a real estate firm and it's a multi-million-dollar, very successful real estate firm, and a new real estate firm comes in, maybe in the same shopping center, 3 doors away, I don't go running over there, knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm so glad you joined the shopping center. Let me teach you all of the secrets that I've used in order to build my real estate business into a multi-million-dollar business. Y'all, one of the beautiful things about network marketing is you get the secrets directly from the people who are building this business. It's incredible. They're not hiding their success secrets. Additionally, what you'll find when you come to this convention is your whole perspective will change. One, you'll realize that Onyx is bigger than 1 inch, okay? I'm not 1 inch tall. I love it when I see you guys in person. You are, it's like, oh my God, you're bigger than 1 inch. Yes, I'm bigger than 1 inch tall. So we'll be able to be together. We're going to break bread. You're going to see Mike and Sahi, and you're going to see Matt and Kim, and you're going to see Javi and Olga, and you're going to see all kinds of amazing leaders, and charity, and all kinds of people that are building their business each and every day. You're going to learn the success secrets from stage. We're going to break bread. And this weekend will do so much to help you deprogram yourself from the 14,000 hours of being an employee. Part of what you're doing when you're plugging in, getting excited, and never quit is deprogramming yourself, because I want you all to develop that long-term mindset. And you'll watch, it's amazing to be there. It's amazing to be in each other's energy. There's something incredibly powerful, as I think you all know, but it's lovely to break bread together. We had so much fun in Aruba together. We are all, Steve, Gina, myself, we are serious about building business, but we're also serious about having fun. So you will leave there with belief like you've never had before. You will leave there with tools that you need in order to build the business. You will leave there with the success secrets that are right for you. Now, remember I told you I read that book, The 4 Agreements, multiple times? Because each time I read it, I read something different. It goes into a deeper pocket. It's the same thing when you see people presenting and those success secrets. Mike and Sahi might give you a success secret that goes from your head right to your heart. It's so perfect for you. And you didn't bring all of your team, a mistake. And so you pick up the phone and you call your team members and you say, oh my gosh, Mike and Sahi are amazing. They said blah, 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 blah. And it really rocked my world and changed my life. But your team member needed to hear Charity. And what Charity said from her heart that would have helped your team go from her head to her heart. So for me, your goal is to make a decision to be there for yourself. Once you've made that decision, decide to bring as many people on your team as possible. This is how you help them change their lives. Now, remember, network marketing is not an entitlement program. You've got to do the work, but this is the best work you'll ever do. And like Mike and Sahi always say, it's like being a 5-year-old. If you can take this sticker and you can peel the back of it off and you just put those stickers like we did when we were 5 anywhere we wanted, and you can build yourself a very big business. You absolutely can. So I hope everybody's had a beautiful Saturday. I hope your perception of the world is a little bit rocked to realize, like I've realized, wow, I spent 14,000 hours being programmed. And when I decided that I wanted to be a farmer and I wanted to grow corn, when I didn't see corn in 2 days, I walked away from my dream. I didn't believe in myself enough, and I didn't believe in deprogramming myself enough to stay long enough to build a very big business. Plug in, get excited, and never quit. Plug in, get excited, and never quit. So happy Saturday, everyone. The week continues until Sunday. I hope everybody has had a blessed day. If you've already done your 3 through 1 and you've got some extra time and you want to learn specifically, go on my last Saturday training, which was whatever, a few months ago, but you'll find it on the YouTube channel so that you can learn the specifics of the business. Decide, I gave you a huge list of actions that you all can take. You don't have to take them all. Decide what works for you and put those into place. Remember, little step, little step, little step, little step. What's that ancient Chinese proverb? Be not afraid of going slowly. Be afraid only of standing still. I send you all love and light. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed, blessed Saturday. Thank you, Lonnie, for running all the slides in the background. I appreciate all the backup work you do for everybody. Next Saturday, there will be no training because it is the 4th of July weekend. And Monday, this Monday, there will be an opportunity call. Next Monday, there will not be an opportunity call. And remember, Steve is celebrating a brand new year. So if you're inspired, send him an email, send him a text, send him something on Facebook, just to let him know how much we love him. Steve and Gina work very, very hard for everybody's benefit. And it's an honor to be in business with the two of them and with each and every one of you. This is your time. Your goal is not to win the marathon. Your goal is to finish the marathon. You can do this.